going to give a little bit of time for everybody to kind of get settled in and to watching. So anyway, I hope everybody's had a good week since the last time I seen you. I had a really good time last time talking with everybody, and yeah, I hope you guys like today's show. Like I said, I'm just getting used to this, so I hope I don't bore you guys completely to death. So anyway, I will hopefully everything goes okay. And anyway, so yeah, I've been keeping busy this week. Things are kind of winding down around here. There's a lot of cleanup going on, things like that. So the garden is winding down, and I've got a lot of cleanup to do out there, and things like that. So anyway, we're kind of on the last batch of rabbits that we're going to butcher for the rabbit tractors and things like that. So anyway, okay, I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to go ahead and get settled in here. Today's topic is going to be about getting into homesteading if you're not doing it just yet. I'm going to try and talk about some of the things that maybe you should think about before you get into it, and some of the things that kind of will help you out right after you get started. So that's what today's topic is going to be. I've got a few other things going on that I'm going to talk about first and whatnot. So anyway, I hope the stream is going okay. Can everybody hear me and see me okay? Hello, Palmetto Paratrooper, or Paratrooper, excuse me, sorry. Hi, Kitty's Homestead. Welcome back. All right, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Looks like there's a few people watching now, so I'm not going to sit here and twiddle my thumbs too long. Okay, so first thing I wanted to mention was I'm going to ask for your all's help, and I'm going to do a contest or giveaway kind of thing when you guys help me reach 2,000 subscribers. And I will do some kind of little contest, and I will make somebody something. I'm pretty good at crocheting. I can make almost anything. I have a lot of denim that I can make things out of. So for the winner, I will make them something. So kind of be thinking about that, like and share my videos around and things like that. So I have been busy crocheting right now. I'm making Halloween costumes for my daughters and for my little nieces, and I thought I would kind of show you what I've been into. So let's see here. This is one. This is a My Little Pony hat, and my daughters are going to be some of the My Little Ponies this year for Halloween. This one is Twilight Sparkle. This is what Cassidy is going to be. And let's see, set that back over there. And Caitlin, she is going to be Rarity, or excuse me, not Rarity. She is going to be Fluttershy. So I have her hat made here. The ears on this one, I think I got them a little too tight. They're not wanting to stand up correctly, but anyway, there's her hat. And she's going to be Fluttershy. Riley is going to be Rarity, and Raylan is going to be Applejack. So if you know the My Little Pony critters, that's what they're going to be for Halloween this year. So I am making the hats, and I'm also making the tails and leg warmers that go with it. So I've been busy making the Halloween costumes, and then right after that I'm flying into Christmas things for the family. for people that, in our family, we just draw names out of a hat. And whoever you get is whoever you buy for or make. I try to make things. So I did get the pattern off Etsy. I will try to put a link down below after the video is done to the store that I got it from. Kitty's Homestead, I don't know if I can do that. It is a copyrighted pattern. But I can send you the link and you can talk to the person that created the pattern for that. And my girl's obsessed with My Little Pony as well. So I know what you're talking about on that one. So let's see. Thanks, guys. I try to put a lot of hard work into the things that I make, so that's why I thought that having a contest with something that I made would people might like that. I did give away an Afghan for my 1-year anniversary on YouTube, and let's see, it was somebody from Missouri that actually won it. And gosh, I can't think of her channel name right now. Oh, I think it may have been Ozark Mountain Girl. I think I'm correct on that, but I'm not 100% certain. So, anyway, okay, so, went to the local feed stores and things yesterday and noticed all of their canning supplies are on sale right now. So if you want to stock up on jars or canning supplies, things like that, right now they're trying to unload those things, and you can get them for a little bit cheaper than you normally would at normal prices. I know that normally a 12-pack of canning jars usually goes for about $12.99 here, and they had them for $9.99 right now at the Tractor Supply here locally. And then they've also have a store named Orscheln's. Theirs are on sale as well. I think Orscheln's is nationwide, but I'm not 100% certain on that. Let's see here. Okay, so I have some photos that I've taken this week, and I just kind of wanted to show you a little bit about what's been going on around here. And I really hope I don't screw this up. Last week I was going to do some photos too, and I did not have a chance to get those set up. So let's see if this works out here. And you guys let me know if something kind of goes funky here. All right. So the first one is going to be of the rabbit tractors. Let's see here. Oh, you guys, that is not what is supposed to be going on here. Okay. Well, that is the pasture area that my rabbits have been eating on. What I normally do is I will save a patch of grass. I don't know why that zoomed in so much, but anyway, so that's a picture of the pasture that they eat on. Let's see if we can get a better. This next one should be okay. Let's see here. Okay, let's see if I can. I'm just learning, so let's see. I hope that is doing okay for you guys. It says the strength is low on the bandwidth. Okay. Hello, everybody. Ava Kinsey, Suburban Hillbilly, Alderman Farms. Hi, guys. Green Gables Homestead. How are you? Let's see if I can get another picture going on here. This next one, let's see here. Oh, well, hang on. It's not wanting to work here. Oh my goodness. Well, let's see here. I'm going to have to figure out how to make these pictures a little bit better for you guys. I'm sorry. They're not. they're all zoomed in. I'm going to have to figure this out. Okay, so right now you're looking at some of my salmon favorelle hens. And you can see their heads. They're really turning out really pretty. I'm really enjoying this breed. I think I'm going to like them a lot. It says it's buffering. I hope that it's not doing too bad for you guys. Oh boy. Sometimes the internet out here is not great. Let me know if you guys are having problems seeing me. So anyway, there's some heads of my salmon faverelles. I'll have to get all this figured out, guys. Sorry, apologize about that. Let's see if we can... Well, there's the tail of one of the roosters. Let's see if we can't... No, it's not gonna... Well, never mind, guys. Sorry. Okay, well, I guess you'll just have to look at me. Alright. Well, okay, so it says you guys are saying everything is okay, but I'm getting the buffering signal on my thing here, so... Okay, well then, if you guys say it's alright, then I'll just continue talking and blabbering. Sorry guys, I will try to figure out the picture situation next time. Yes, my chickens are so hard to take pictures of. I was out there trying to take some decent pictures of my salmon faverelles so that you guys could see them, because they're kind of a rare breed, and they're really hard to take a decent picture of. Anyway, they'll always turn or look funky or something going on whenever I'm trying to take a picture of them. So, okay, a little bit of buffering, not too bad. Okay. Alrighty. So, I wanted to show you the book that I picked out for you guys this week. I'm sure most of you have heard of it, but if you haven't, if you're going to be getting into homesteading, this is an excellent book. So You Can Farm. It's by Joel Salatin. And my book is extremely well read. I may have to actually purchase another copy. It's kind of starting to fall apart on me. But anyway, I really like it. I am really bad about taking notes in my books and whatnot. So anyway, there you have it. That's the book for the week. It's really great. He breaks it down to you if you've never done this before. Yeah, great book for a beginner or anybody that wants a good read. It's a good read too. He's kind of funny, so check that book out. Okay, so on to the regularly scheduled programming, I guess. So before you get started into homesteading, oh, you probably need to read it another 18 times. That's funny. Storm shelter. Yes, Alderman Farms Salatin rocks. I like all of his stuff. He's pretty cool. There's a lot of YouTube videos about him on YouTube as well. So, okay, got distracted, sorry. Before you get started, you probably need to ask yourself, why? Why do I want to homestead? I think that's probably going to be your biggest question when you're wanting to get into homesteading, because it is hard, it's challenging, but it also comes with great rewards, and it really is a great life to get into, especially for children. My children really love living out here. They're very proud of how they live, and it really helps them with a certain level of confidence too, I believe. So they're allowed to explore and you know, just kind of be creative, and the animals really help out. They have something that really they can love on, or if they need to, they can talk to it, and it won't, you know, well, it won't talk back, but it'll listen. So just ask yourself, why do I want to homestead? And the answer will be different for everybody. So I can't tell you the reason why you want to homestead. And then once you've kind of figured out why you want to homestead, you probably should ask yourself, what kind of homestead do I want? And from there, build your goals and things that you want to incorporate on your homestead. And what are your, oh, I can't think of the word I'm wanting to say here. Make a plan as to what you want. Whenever I was getting started, after we moved back from California and things like that, I set my immediate goals, then I set my goals for, 6 months, and then a year, and then 5 years, and then 10 years. So I set my goals for different times, and a lot of times, or sometimes, you won't reach those goals on time, but at least you have them written down, and they are there for you to reference whenever you need to. So is there anybody out there that is getting into homesteading right now, or is thinking about getting into homesteading? Or do most of you guys already have your homestead? That'd be kind of neat to know. And then kind of once you've kind of got what you really kind of want to get into, then you need to do your research. Research. Because if you go into this blindly with no experience, and you have a very, very good chance that you will fail or burn yourself out. And that's a shame, because I really think this lifestyle is really great for everybody. Since the 90s, Alderman Farms, great. The storm shelter, very good. You're getting into it. Good luck. I wish you the best in everything. And while you're doing your research, keep an open mind. Don't rule something out just because it sounds weird, or it just sounds like, I would never do that. I have tried to keep an open mind as I've gone along. I've tried things and I've failed miserably at them, new things, and I just won't do them again. I always try to, if I'm trying something new, do it as cheaply as possible. And then if you really find that you like the way that is, or that's setup is, then go ahead and invest in it and buy the items if they're expensive. So there are a few ways that you can get into the researching process that makes it a little bit easier. One, just go talk to local homesteaders. There's a million ways you can find them. Some of them, the more social ones that are more willing to, say, give you a farm tour or talk with you, will be the ones that are on social medias like Facebook or YouTube. And then just get in contact with them. The ones that go to the farmers markets, it's a good place. You also have your local extension agent. They are a wealth of knowledge. As I've mentioned before, mine knows me even before she picks up the phone. I think she has me on caller ID, or I think she thinks I have her on speed dial. But anyway, local extension agents are great. They can do soil samples for you. They can do a lot of things for you and help you out with that. So local fairs or expos. We have an expo here. We have a lot of people that live in town that come through. They ask our kids 1,000 questions. They ask us a lot of questions, and we try to answer them to the best of our knowledge. Those people are there for not only for their kids to learn experiences, but they want to be able to teach other people. And a lot of people are very open and honest about what it takes to raise certain animals, and they know what it's like to take a small animal and raise it to a butchering weight. So, and a lot of times they just don't stop with the animals that they show. They have things that they sell, and like beef and different things like that. So those are great people to talk to, and they're usually, most people at local fairs and things like that are very knowledgeable and very nice people. Yeah, that's right, Alderman Farms. Extension agents are great, and that's what they get paid to do. The extension agents, what they are is they're just a branch off of the state universities. The University of Missouri is the one that's run through our local. In each county, I don't know how it is in every state, but each county has their local own extension agent and their own extension office that they can go visit. Take local classes. A lot of classes are offered even through the extension offices. If you get into some of the Facebook groups or things like that, they will offer seed swaps. We have a seed swap that goes through every year. The University of Missouri puts on what's called a field day over at their Bradford Research Center. You go over there and they have these little trolleys. They go around to all the different places where people have applied for grants to do research-based farming and crops and things like that. So once a year they will open it to the public, and you get to go learn and see what these people are doing as far as what the local organics and things that they're trying, different things like that. So anyway, let's see. And then the last thing I got is books, magazines, blogs, YouTube, and the internet. Now, the internet, I will caution you, sometimes what's on there is not the greatest of information, but you can kind of sift through and pick and choose what you will. That's a lot of great resources in a lot of that stuff. So, okay, so the beauty of homesteading is it's scalable. You can make it as big or as little. We have 25 acres here. Our neighbor down the road has 165. My grandfather, he had 145 acres. My dad has 40 acres. Dirt Patch Heaven is, on a couple acres. We have neighbors behind us that are on 3 acres, and they do a lot. We have other neighbors that have 2 acres. It really depends on what you really have time for and what you feel comfortable with. You can make a homestead on any size property. I know people that are doing it in town. They raise their own food. They have rabbits. In Columbia, which is one of the nearest big cities, you can have 3 chickens, no roosters, but 3 chickens. You can have rabbits, and things like that. So you can homestead anywhere, even if it's just a little back lot or something. A lot of the churches in the area, they have community gardens where you go help and then you get the produce from there. So community gardens, you can go and learn from people that have been doing it a while. That's another place that you can learn how to garden. And if you participate in a community garden, what was I going to say? If you fail there, you know that if I'm going to grow this, I shouldn't grow it this way. Or you can learn some of the diseases that plants can get, like blight or just different pests and things that you can watch out for and maybe try and prevent along the way. My next bit of advice would be to go ahead and start small once you are into it. Don't jump in whole hog. You will get overwhelmed. I know I've heard people say that chickens are the gateway animal into homesteading, and I believe that is true. Chickens are just so funny and entertaining and everything like that. So start with chickens or rabbits. Rabbits are small. Let's see. A garden. Start with a decent sized garden, one that you think you can take care of, and then just add on to that and grow from there. Just move up and expand. Goats. Goats are easier than some of the larger livestock like cattle. However, goats, I think that they just try and find the most creative ways to get into mischief. And yeah, we have good fences here, but when I was growing up, my grandpa did not have good fences. And my grandma loved to keep flower gardens. Well, goats are very good at creating a way to get out, and he bought this goat somewhere, and the goat believed that it should be in the yard. Let's just say the goat did not last very long around there after he ate several of my grandmother's flowers, and we had an experience where our goats, I believe it was the kids, they did not latch the gate properly, and we had a lesson in latching the gate properly. Yeah, they got out, and I had that last fall. This was in the springtime. I had that last fall they got out, or in that spring they got out, and they ate all of my fruit trees. So now my fruit trees are dead. Yeah, don't believe anything you read on the internet. Abraham Lincoln. That's funny. Anyway, so I lost track of what I was saying. Got distracted, guys. Oh yeah, the goats, they ate all my fruit trees. So beware of the goats. And Alderman Farms, in your case, cows. I seen the video where your cow got into your garden and did quite a bit of damage. So, my cow, oh, sometimes she likes to be a renegade, and she will go. I keep my feed in trash cans next to the animals that it's for, and sometimes she likes to try and pop the lids off there and eat things she's not supposed to, especially when she's on her way, because I just open the gate, and she usually will walk straight into her milking station and go to eating because she knows her grain is waiting there. But there for a while, she figured out that, hey, if I go over here and I pop this lid off real quick while she's shutting the gate, I can get a little bit extra feed. So I had to retrain her, put the halter on her, and you know, she didn't like that. She got a little uppity on that one. So anyway, yeah, they can be cantankerous, and the animals can do a lot of damage. Goats, you almost have to do like reverse psychology on them. If you want them in a certain place, put them in the opposite place so they'll go to where you want them. That's what my grandpa always said. Yeah, well, he didn't particularly care for goats, but he kept them around because he had a lot of sheep, and when he had triplets or whatnot, he would put them on the goats and let the goats raise them so he didn't have to monkey with them. So, where is J&S Farms? Southern Hillbilly. We are located in central Missouri. That is where we are located. Near Columbia. We're about 30 minutes out of Columbia. That's the biggest city to us. Kansas City and St. Louis. St. Louis is about an hour and a half. Kansas City is 2.5 hours. So, oh, excuse me, not that far. How far is Kansas City? I haven't been to Kansas City in a long time. That's bad. I had to remind you, Alderman Farms, of course. She was a naughty cow. I have lots of naughty animals around here. Okay, so a few things to consider before you get into homesteading. You kind of need to, if you've never done it before, you need to know how you're going to deal with death. Because, and I say this because if you have livestock, you can also have dead stock. And, you know, you have your favorite animal and you love this animal and then it dies. for no reason. And they do that. They die for no reason. They die. You just go out one morning and, you know, things happen. You can take the best care in the world of an animal, and it, for some reason, you know, a lot of people get discouraged when this happens, but, you know, as long as you're doing everything to the best of your ability and you have an animal that passes away, you know, you can't beat yourself up too badly, because it does happen. It can and it will. So know how you're going to deal with animals that die, especially young animals. That's the hardest part for me. When we have a calf not make it, that's one of the harder things for me, especially if, you know, I've done everything. I've fed the cow right. I've, you know, cared for them, and it just breaks your heart whenever you come out and there's an animal that you've spent a lot of time, and you really do get to get attached to some of your animals. And if you have an animal that you're planning to butcher or consume, don't name the animal unless you know for a fact that you can go through with it, because naming it brings on a whole new level. Oh, see you later, Alderman Farms. Thanks for stopping by. It's a whole new level when you name something and you have to eat it. So around here we do name some of the animals that we eat, just because everybody's used to it, and yeah, it doesn't bother us to name them. Some people can't do that. Okay, so butchering animals, you kind of need to know how you're going to be handling that. If you don't think that you can do it, check into local butcher shops. A lot of times they will butcher for you. We don't butcher our own beef or pork. We send it to our local butcher. They do an excellent job, and I don't have to worry about, I mean, we can do it, and we have before, but I prefer just send it to them. They do it, put it in nice little packages, and I get it in my freezer. Now, our chickens and our rabbits, we do those ourselves because they're smaller and they're easier to handle. We do butcher our own goats because they are smaller. You know, just the bigger animals, we're not big fans of doing that ourselves, although we can. You can ask a local farmer if you can come and watch them or help them butcher animals, a local homesteader. A lot of people are like, yeah, come on, I could use the help, you know. So a lot of them will not turn down the help if you want to help. So, yeah, check into, just kind of think about how you'll be handling the death and the butchering process. You need to keep into consideration homestead safety. When I say this, I mean, if you're wanting to get into some of the larger animals, like the cattle and pigs, they get rather large as well. Handling them properly and having the proper setup to handle them when you have to get in close quarters. If they're not like, say, my milk cow, where you can just go out there and do whatever. A lot of times they don't like to be handled in close quarters. You may be able to walk right up to them and, you know, they'd be fine, but they don't like to be touched. You need to know kind of the behaviors of these animals, because they can hurt you. Cattle can hurt you. We have all of our cows bucket trained, and whenever we shake the bucket and holler for them, they come, and you have to be ready, because they can knock that bucket out of your hand, and all they want is their cow cookies. That's all they want is their cookies. And they're not looking to hurt me, but they can. So when you're learning how to handle a larger livestock, you always want to have two people handling at the same time until you're comfortable. You always want to have that safety net until you're really comfortable handling those animals. See you later, Suburban Hillbilly. Thanks for stopping by. Let's see here. Okay, and the last thing I got is consider your time. how much time you're going to have for doing the homesteading. If you work off the farm, then you need to know, you need to be honest with yourself about how much time you're going to have to spend doing these things, because it does take a bit of time. And you can have setups where it's just real easy. You get it done in the morning, go to work, come home, and then you can get into the more in-depth practices. So, like, I like to observe my animals. I like to watch them. I like to know kind of their behavior patterns, because if an animal's going to get sick on you, you can be like, well, that animal's not really acting right. I need to keep a close eye on that animal. So, okay, so those are some things to consider when you are looking into getting into homesteading. Next thing that you'll want to do is get your land, get your homestead. So once you have your goals, you've researched everything, you think to the best of your abilities, made your plan, you can start looking for your acreage, your homestead, wherever it is you want to call home. First thing I would recommend is know your finances, know what you can afford. You know, you don't want to be looking at places that you can't afford. It's just going to make things harder for you. And just know what you can afford. And when you're going to set up your infrastructure, setting it up, you want to do it as frugally as possible, as cheaply as possible, and then get into, you know, the nicer things, so that you can get some of the things that you want. And then you want to have kind of an idea of the property that's going to work for your goals and your plans. If you want to have cattle and have really nice pastures, you probably don't want a property that is, you know, got a lot of clay, or doesn't have a lot of good grasses on it. Now, that's not to say our property was overrun with weeds. So we've done a lot of work getting our pastures set up to where they need to be. So kind of know what you're wanting to get into. If you say you go look at a homestead and it's nothing but hills and hollers, and you want to do a lot of gardening, that may not be the property for you. Now, if you want to buy the property for hunting or something like that, that's a good place. So anyway, there are several different avenues that you can look into when you go to look at different properties. You can get a realtor. There's the internet, several sites. We found our house on Zillow is where we found ours. There's social media. You can drive around and just look. Some people just post, stick a sign out in front of their house, and that's it. A lot of local farmers just do that. And then there's also real estate auctions. There's a lot of those. You can go to a lot of the real estate auction companies. They have a website. You go there and they have everything you need to know about that certain property, and they will usually have a viewing day where you can go and view the property before you go to the auction. And you can find a lot of good deals if you do that. So looking into something like that. Okay, let's see. I think I'm doing all right on time. Can everybody still hear me and see me okay? I don't know, because I'm still getting the little buffering signal here, so. Okay. All right, so once you have your property, or once you, excuse me, not once you have your property, once you find a property that you want to look into, that you think might suit your needs, there's a few things you need to maybe consider before you purchase the property. I have 15 things listed here. Every state's different, and some states there's a little thing. Everything is kind of different in different parts of the country. So this is for my area. This is some of the questions that I had to ask myself we had to ask ourselves when we started looking at properties. Does it have potential? And if you think it has potential, try to picture what it's going to look like once you get it set up the way you want it. You know, the property we bought, it was a foreclosure, so a lot of stuff was, you know, we've seen the diamond in the rough, so to speak. It was pretty rough, and we've seen the potential that the property had. So even though when you go to look at it, if it's, you know, overgrown, or just look at the potential that you can see in the property. Location is important. You need to know how far you'll be willing to travel to the biggest town to get supplies, because you will need things from town. What is an acceptable distance for you to travel? That's a good thing. Cockeyed Homestead, welcome. That's okay if you're late. I don't mind. Will the terrain suit my goals? Usually an aerial view, you can get all that Google Maps. An aerial view usually will give you a good idea of the terrain and things like that. What is the water situation on the property? Water is very important, in some states more than others, but water is a very important aspect to know where your water is going to be coming from, the stuff that you drink and the stuff your animals are going to drink. So water situation, that's very important. Look at the native plants that are kind of growing around the property. They can be good soil indicators as to what your soil is going to be like. And the native grasses and things like that. We have a lot of warm season native grasses in our pastures. So what we did was we kind of added a few of the cool season grasses, so we have a good mixture of the two different things. So, all right, look at the soils. That'll give you a good indication. You can get it tested. You can take a little sample and give it to an extension agent and say, hey, you know, let me get the soil tested. Look at how much open land to wooded land, depending on your goals and your setup that you want to have. Yeah, depending on your goals, sorry. Anyway, depending on your goals, how much open and wooded land. If you want to glen your hogs like Joel Salatin does, you're going to want some woods for them to be able to forage and different things like that. Ours is mostly open. We do have a few places where it's kind of wooded, but not too many. Hello, my homesteading project. And Amanda's garden. Let's see here. Is there anybody that has any questions for me? Real quick. I'm about halfway through the list here. And I don't want to run out of things to talk about. So if you have any questions, please feel free, guys. Anyway, existing fences, boundary fences, look at those if they have any. Fences are expensive. They're expensive to put in, so look and see what the fencing situation is. Zoning or deed restrictions, that one is a big one, because if there's any deed or zoning restrictions and you don't know about them and you want, say, goats, and you can't have goats, you're going to be very disappointed. Yeah, so is there electricity run to the property? If there's not, or if you're going to go off grid, this doesn't really apply to you, but electricity to get it run to a property here in Missouri is very expensive. If it's already run to the property, that's even better. It's very expensive to have done. So check out the electricity situation. Are there any easements running through the property? Such as, around here, power line easements are a big thing. They run through properties all the time, and you need to know if you have easements. Or sometimes there'll be a driveway that cuts through the property. Well, that person has that easement. They can do whatever they wish with that easement. So if you particularly don't happen to like that neighbor, you got to deal with them, because they're going to be going through your property all the time. All right. When was the last survey done? Are there any boundary disputes? Things like that with neighbors. And then know your local fence laws. Here in Missouri, fence law is a little tricky sometimes. So okay, so has it had trouble buffering, guys? I'm sorry if it is. Sometimes the internet here is pretty sketchy, so. Yeah, have a survey done and know if there's any issues going on there, because nothing worse than getting into a boundary war with your new neighbors. So, all right, what are the taxes going to be? You got to know how much taxes you're going to be paying on your property. Here in the county that I live in, taxes are extremely low. The next county over, taxes are almost triple what I pay. If I were to pay taxes on my property in the next county over, I'd be paying 3 times what I'm paying right now for taxes. So look into the taxes. You need to look into see, and this will vary by state. I don't know. This doesn't really apply here in Missouri, but does it come with mineral and timber rights? Those are kind of important things to know. And then kind of, if you're looking to buy a property somewhere, look into the community around that property. Talk to some of the neighbors. Sometimes they're willing to just sit there and chat. I know a lot of rural people just love to stand there and talk. A lot of my neighbors love to talk. So if I ever go over to one of my neighbors, I always just kind of expect at least an hour of time spent with them. So, okay, so those are some of the things that you maybe should consider once you find a property that you're looking into. And maybe keep in mind. If you guys have any other suggestions on that, please feel free to comment or chat. Well, that's cool. Cockeyed Homestead. I love it when you have neighbors that don't really care. We're kind of those neighbors. We don't, doesn't really matter. We have a neighbor whose horse gets out all the time. I don't care. I've come out, I think it was just a few weeks ago, but come out every morning and there he was standing in my yard grazing. So I guess he just liked the grass. It was greener in my yard. So anyway. Okay. So once you purchase your property, what I would recommend, and this is what I did, spend the entire first year mapping out your property. And what I mean by mapping it out, you need to know where the water runoff areas are. Say you want to put a brooder house somewhere, and you have a little outside pen for your chickies. If you set that thing in a water runoff area, you're not going to have chickens very long, especially little ones. So kind of know where your water runoff areas are going to be. Your frost-prone areas. You don't want to plant all your fruit trees in the one section of your property that gets the most frost. South-facing slopes. That's where you're going to want to put your garden, on your south-facing slopes. because they get the most sunlight, and your garden will do much better. If you look at your local plants and let's see, grasses and things, a lot of them can be soil indicators about how your soil is going to be. Get your soil tested so you know what you're working with. Where you want to plant your garden, if you plant it in a place where your soil is extremely bad, you're going to have to do a lot of amendments to that soil before you can get anything growing really well. So whenever there was a dog fight on your property. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah. We've only had a couple of dogs come over on our property, Cockeyed Homestead, and it did not end well for them. We had a neighbor's husky come over and thought that it was going to make a meal out of my rabbits. I think that dog left with half the hair it came here with because it was all over my yard. It was trying to run, and either Jax or Mia they would grab a hold of it and just pull hair. I eventually called him off, but that dog never came back. It decided that it was it wasn't a good idea. And then we had a pit bull come over and think that it was going to chase our cows. And the livestock guardian dogs that I have took care of that problem pretty quick. So they're a great asset. Livestock guardian dogs are. Oh, yes. Very, very good, Amanda's Homestead. If you have an existing well, have it tested. Yes. Yes, very good idea. I did not put that on my list. Thank you for mentioning that. Okay. Okay, so I would definitely recommend not putting anything permanent within the first year. When we set up our rabbits and our chickens, I made sure that those things could be moved if I did not like where I had placed them first time around. So I kind of have everything mapped out now, and I know where everything needs to be and where I want it to go. So everything is becoming more permanent around here. So before you do anything permanent, know where you're going to want it for sure, because moving it once you get it set up, not so fun. Let's see. Well, that kind of leads me into my next topic. Plan and map out your property. I drew, let's see. Let me grab one. I didn't set it over here. I don't know why, but I mapped out my property the best I could, to the best of scalable as I could. Let me dig it out here. This is my binder. I do a lot of binders. If y'all watched my organization video, let's see if I can find one here. I mapped out, and I do have a video of this on my channel. Let's see here. Okay, so I don't know if this will come through very well, but this is essentially our property. Is this okay? It's this giant kind of L shape. This little 5 acres here. The original owner owns this little 5 acres, but this is our pond right here, and this is, oh my goodness, it's backwards. This little square right here is our house, and this is what I eventually want my property to look like, and I did it to scale as much as possible. So the pond takes up quite a bit of our acreage. I'm guessing, I've never really measured it or anything like that, but I'm guessing our pond is about 5 acres. It's pretty good size. It takes up a big chunk of our property. So anyway, map it out, and I have several different maps that I have. I have my water runoff, I have my frost prone areas and things like that. So that one was just that's one of my planning maps, like that's what we're going to do as we go kind of thing. So make a map and kind of see what you like there, see what you don't like there, see what works for you. And then you can start building your infrastructure. Most of mine is portable. I try to keep everything that I have portable, as far as like the housing and things like that for the animals. Now we are going to be building some permanent things, but yeah, it's a really nice sized pond. My husband went out on it with his fish finder, and I guess it tells you the depth with the fish finders. The deepest spot that he could find was 20 feet deep, so it's a pretty deep pond as well. And there's all kinds of fish in it. Cassidy is the fishing queen around here. She can cast that sucker out, and within 5 seconds she's got a fish on her hook. And she loves to fish, so. And we love swimming in the pond too. Talking too much. Oh, that's awesome, Cockeyed Homestead. Your well is spring fed. At the property we used to live at for my family, on my when we first moved back, it was a spring fed, and that is some of the best tasting water on the planet. Let me tell you what, I got spoiled. Duckhead Homestead, it was a requirement. I think it was here too. It was a requirement, so. Sorry, I'm just kind of reading comments, guys. Anyway, yeah, infrastructure. Okay, so when you're doing your infrastructure, when you're setting it up, everything around here we make ourselves, and we make it out of reclaimed, repurposed materials. Everything that we see around here, we've built ourselves. Making friends with a carpenter or a handyman is a very, very good idea. They can get you a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. You can even drive around, and those big old dumpsters that they have outside of construction sites, they throw away a lot of good stuff. You may look a little funny digging in it, but you know what? Helps out. Every little bit helps. Keep an eye out for things. Even if you can't use them right now. I know that kind of sounds like hoarder-ish, but we have a pile. It's a pile. It's not pretty, but we have a pile of stuff that is usable, and we may not be able to use it right now, but we can use it down the road. So when we have a chance to, say, build, we need another goat house, we'll have the materials that we need to build it. So anyway, what do you use to amend your soil? We compost our cow manure. We choose an area that we're going to feed our cows in every year for the winter, and it builds up over the winter time, and usually about halfway through the winter we'll pile it up, and then in the spring we'll pile it up again. So we make giant compost piles with our cow manure. And then I also use my chicken manure, my rabbit manure, and things like that for just smaller areas that I want if it needs more nitrogen. And like for nitrogen loving plants in my garden, like the corn, I'll use my corn as an example. I'll just take my chicken, I'll clean out my chicken house in the spring or whenever I need to clean it out. I'll take that and I will set it, if my corn needs some nitrogen, I'll just sprinkle it along the side. Now, don't put it up next to the plants because it will burn your plants. Say this is your, corn plant. I would put it, I think I put it maybe 6-12 inches away from the corn plant, and then watered it down so that the ground absorbs the nitrogen. And my corn did really well until it got blown over twice. Anyway, I'm not going to go there because that was really annoying. Anyway, so I just use a variety of different things. I compost the weeds and different things like that. I do compost. I have just pallet compost piles set up that I just throw things in whenever I do weeding in my garden. So I hope that answers your question, Cockeyed Homestead. Okay. Hello, mother of many horses. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, that's right. Nothing wrong with dumpster diving. I'm not ashamed to do it. So, anyway. Okay. So, there are other options. If you like to have things nice and pretty and pristine, you can buy new. There's nothing wrong with that. You can build it yourself, like what we do. Or you can buy it used. We do have a lot of used things. Feeders mainly, things that we can't really build ourselves. Well, I mean, we can. We have a hog feeder that we got for free, and the bottom was rusted out, but, you know, we found a piece of metal, and Brian's so crafty, we made it work, you know. It may look funky. I'll try to take a picture of it. It looks really funny, but I'll try to take a picture of it for you guys and figure out the picture situation so I can get it right next time. But that's one of those things we got for free, and we used some of the materials around here, and now we have a really nice hog feeder for the pigs we're growing out right now. So, oh, I'm out of time. I guess I can stay on here. I wasn't watching my time. I still have more stuff to talk about. There's nobody behind me, so I guess it'll be all right. You can check bulletin boards at farm stores. Farm sales are great to go to, and they're social events for country people. So, social media like Craigslist, Facebook, or there is the ever so helpful Homestead Network barter group on Facebook. I've gone on there a lot, and it's really great. It's a great community. Go check that out if you have not on Facebook. It's the barter group for the Homestead Network. Brad set that up, and it's really, really great. So you guys go check that out if you haven't. You can trade with your neighbors, and there's also swap meets and things like that that you can go to and get things kind of inexpensively. Okay, now let's see here. The last bit of things that I had, machinery. Machinery is expensive. We bought a tractor before we even needed it because we found a really good deal on it. It's a 1970s International Harvester. It's a bucket tractor, and it does everything we need it to do. And the beauty of machinery is you can get scalable. And if you don't want to buy machinery, you can always borrow it from neighbors. A lot of neighbors are always welcome to. A lot of neighbors are always willing to help you if you need it, especially if you're starting out. We've borrowed machinery. As long as you're willing to do the same for them, or that kind of touches on the community thing that I made a video about not too long ago. That's the importance of having the community there for you, is if you don't have the money to purchase a tractor at the time, say it's a tractor, you can borrow it. And if you borrow something, this is an unspoken rule, and it's very important. If you borrow a piece of machinery from somebody and you break it, you fix it. Always fix it. Because it's just one of those things that it's the good thing to do. Or if, you borrow something, treat it as good or better than something that is your own. If you borrow something and leave it out in the weather and it gets rusted, they're going to know that you did that. People aren't stupid, especially country people. They know when their stuff's not been taken care of. And they're not going to let you borrow it anymore. So, take care of their things, and I always try to return it in better condition or as good a condition as I borrowed it in. Now, there is instances where we have borrowed machinery and they said, well, you know, this hose is about to go out, so if it does, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it, or, you know, whatnot. That's the only instance where it's okay to break something, and me personally, I would still fix it, even if they said that you don't have to. I personally would feel responsible, and I would fix it. So, let's see here. That's right, Ava Kinsey. That's a good thing. Yeah. We have a person that I know borrows a lawnmower. I'm not going to say who it is. The gas tank is always full when they borrow it, and it's empty when it returns. It's annoying. Don't do that to people. Always remember to put the gas back in it. And if you borrow it on empty, return it full. Just saying. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. Sorry. One of my biggest things that irritates me to death. People bringing things back on empty. Okay, so last thing I got for you guys is make a list of your priorities. Things that I always prioritize my projects, and things can get bumped up or bumped back down depending on the priorities of things, the season of the year, different things like that. Priorities are always a list is always a good thing to have. I am a list maker. That's how I keep things going. Honestly, I call it my brain. And right here, this is my brain. That's my day-to-day brain. Oh, I can't get that hung up there. That's my day-to-day brain. That tells me what I'm doing, what time I need to be somewhere, and different things like that. So, always finish a project before you start it. You have too many irons in the fire. You have too many projects started, and they never get finished, and then you get overwhelmed. And I am guilty of this. I've done it several times. Yes, good fences, they make good neighbors, don't you know? Yes, mother of many horses. Anyway, my to-do list is so flexible it snaps. Yeah, cockeyed Homestead. Yeah. Once you start something, I always recommend finishing it before you start something else. And then, because if you don't finish it, then you've wasted your time and money, because a lot of projects are going to take at least some kind of money. So, yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. And then the last thing I wanted to touch on, when you get your homestead, when you go to buy your animals, please, make sure you have the proper housing, the proper fencing, and you know how to care for them properly before you bring them home. That is, to me, very important. That's something that I've never done. I've always made sure that my animals have somewhere to live, somewhere to eat, somewhere to drink, and I know how to take care of them properly before I even consider bringing them home. If I need special equipment for that animal, I make sure I have that before I need it. I guess one instance was when I got my milk cow. I thought, you know, hey, I can hand milk her. No. She gave a gallon at a time. And I wish somebody had told me this beforehand. Get your muscles built up to milk, because your hands are going to be sore. So I dealt with the sore hands until my milk machine got there. I have a milk machine for my cow. And I only use it in the beginning of her milking cycle because she is such a heavy milker. It's ridiculous. And my hands just will give out. Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of one instance where I kind of put my cart before my horse and thought that I could do something, and I couldn't do it. So anyway, okay, so I think that's all I had for you guys. I am now at 8 minutes over my time. Anyway, sorry. If you have not gone over and checked out the Homestead Network page, or let's see, their website, excuse me. Check out their website. Brad from Big Family Homestead and Tommy from Off Grid Nation, they have done a wonderful job at setting up this online community. And so please go check them out. And if you haven't, subscribe to them and all that good stuff. So that's all I had for you guys. Is there any last minute questions that anybody has for me before I leave you guys to what you were going to do today? Let me know. Okay, good to know. There's a barter page at the Homestead Network. Good. I guess I hadn't checked that out yet. Sorry. Your hands are always cold. My cow really doesn't care if my hands are cold or not. Alright guys, so alright, I'm going to call it a day. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and we'll see you next Monday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Bye guys.